Hi, my name is Tom White. I'm the publisher of Home Energy Magazine in Berkeley, and I'm here today with Peter Waring and Bruce Greenstein. Bruce is an instructor, assistant professor in the Energy Systems Technology Management program at Skyline, and Peter is also an instructor. And welcome today.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. We're here today for the American Institute of Building Design California Society annual conference on building design and building science and how they can work together. So I'll let you guys open it up just by introducing us to your program and how you come to invite the AIBD to this beautiful venue here in San Bruno.
Okay, I'll start off. And this is really a vision come true. We had planned something of this type for 3 years now, really. It was part of the vision of the college to not just provide courses, but to provide a regional training center that would serve the community, serve industry, and organizations like AIBD. And interestingly enough, Mr. Waring met Clay Johnson, who is the lead for AIBD for these conferences, and they struck up a friendship and realized that his interest in building science and building performance. And after a few conversations, they realized this might be a good place to come to have their conference. So in a way, they sought us out. Certainly Peter had a lot to do with that, but they were seeing the future, and they realized for our designs to be even better and for our buildings to perform well and be energy efficient, we should start getting some education and training. And that's what this conference is really about, is it's the nexus of building design and building science, which were meant to go together. And that's why it's been such a great experience this last few days. Really seeing designers and builders coming together. And we have common goals, and that's what's really interesting. We want a beautiful product that works really well. Certainly the designers can get the aesthetics, but they don't always get the performance. We sometimes get the performance, but we certainly don't always get the beauty. So when we combine the two, we really end up with a great product. So I'm really thrilled that these two industries are kind of coming together. And we have a lot to learn from each other as well. Design is essential to good building performance work. So we can learn a lot about their process and about design as much as they can learn from us about the science of how buildings work. So it's really a dream come true having them here, and we hope to have many more conferences like this. Hopefully this is just the start of providing this service to the community. I think we have a wonderful facility. We're in a great location here in San Bruno, and hopefully we'll get some pictures of the lab up that you can see. But we have a really remarkable lab, I think, that's unique to Northern California, and so we're so happy to share it.
Thank you. Peter, can you talk about some of the students that are coming through the program? Are they, out of high school? Are they, second career folks or employees being sent in by their employers to just sort of brush up or get a new certification?
So we are reaching out to younger levels, high school. We had an energy camp here last summer, summer energy camp, where high school students came in and learned how to make videos and make video of their own choosing about topics of solar systems and also energy efficiency of various types. And we had like half a dozen or so videos that were produced as a result of that, which we posted online on the Skyline site. But the main students we've had coming through so far are people who come through with previous experience. This is like career job change. Sometimes we had students who, when the auto factory closed down in the East Bay, we had people coming in to get new training. We have contractors who have had years, decades, sometimes of experience wanting to learn what's happening with building construction now. No longer able to do the hands-on actual building itself, but want to be more the intelligence behind how to build better and reform our trade practices. But we are getting younger students too of college age, and this is really important. I think it's true for AIBD, and it's certainly true in the building industry and contracting industry, that we need to pass on what we've learned about buildings, how to build them, and how to have them perform well to the next generation of people who really follow in our footsteps.
Bruce, can you talk about the sort of scope of your course curriculum and the different types of courses you offer? I know you're in solar as well as efficiency and building science.
Right. So Skyline's been doing solar for a number of years here, so we have a fairly robust solar program, even some commercial classes for solar. We're branching out into solar thermal training as well currently, but we do have a course that teaches folks to the junior installer level. So we really teach people how to be an integrator. Beyond that, we teach the finance, the sales, design. So we have a full complement of courses that really make someone a very well-rounded solar employee. On the other side, our other track is the energy efficiency. And that's really a focus on really both existing and new construction. A lot of the concepts and methods, applications apply to each. But we are focusing mainly on residential, but we are slowly getting into multifamily and commercial. So essentially the program is designed so we can bring in the high school student or the young freshman, and we have introductory courses so we can get them into these more advanced courses. We also have courses that the tradesperson, the HVAC contractor, the general contractor can come in and take a course or two or even a number of courses and expand their knowledge. So we have tracks for both the new beginner and the advanced and everything in between. So we're really serving a wide demographic of people. All the courses are transferable as well. So students that do want to go on to higher education and want to continue their education, this is an excellent foundation. It's a very accessible, affordable way to start your career or your academic path by coming here to Skyline, getting these fundamentals, the cores down, and we do have a lot of hands-on, and then taking that knowledge to higher education and moving on with your goals. So we really have this, multiple entries, multiple exits. You can transfer, you can go right back out into the working world, and we have a very strong relationship with the industry and the community in this area, and we often have industry coming looking for our students when they're graduating. So we're quickly establishing a reputation that we are producing really good employees for folks, not just technicians, but well-rounded workers. And I think that's the kind of the goal, is that we're not just cranking out technicians and people wearing tools and fixing things. It's well beyond that. This foundation allows you to go into finance, software development, program development, policy. I think we really provide a well-rounded foundation for people to go in many different directions. And that's the essence of what we're doing. We're also looking to the future, and we're particularly this next year, and we have some partnerships, particularly with PG&E, where we're looking into expanding how to train for net zero homes. We have a goal coming up fairly quickly, and we're hoping we're going to meet that training need to teach folks how to do net zero homes, passive homes, deep energy reductions. So we're also looking not just what the current need is, but what the future need is.
So I think I elaborate a little on that. So science is an experimental endeavor. It involves theory, learning about how things are supposed to work or how we think they work, and then practice actually doing it and seeing if it does work the way you think it does, and collecting data, measuring to make sure that we're on track. And what we're able to do here at Skyline is to do both, and then melding back and forth. And when you do see our lab, you'll see that we have a large room. It used to be the auditorium of a school. It was big enough for Bruce and a number of volunteers to build a 2-story house. Inside it, one whole wall is Lexan, so you can see what's going on inside. It has all the appliances that a typical home has in it, so it's an operational, but it's a classroom too. In rain or shine, we can work there. And we're developing relationships with progressive developers and remodelers in the area, where our students then can go out and both assess existing homes in terms of what their deficiencies are and make prescriptions for what should be done, and also then follow through and actually do it. And we were fortunate, the dean of our division, Ray Hernandez, who lives in San Francisco, had an old fixer-upper basically. Shortly after the earthquake, his house was built, and he and his partner were willing to have us actually not only test his house and see what was wrong with it, but then we actually got a crew together of our graduates and associated supporters and contractors to actually go and do the retrofit. And we did a major overhaul of this house in terms of air leakage, insulation, solar thermal and solar hot water heats, and solar PV systems as well, to make it nice and cozy so he can actually retire in place.
And we know we did a good job because he didn't fire us. That was nice.
Yeah.
Have you had luck doing other field retrofits as
Yeah,
well?
interesting. Well, I'll let Peter follow up, but essentially Peter Waring, he's very good at making friends out there. Found another friend of ours out in the community. He's a developer, Sidco. His name is Mohan Mahal. And he got to know Peter, and they started talking, and we were always looking for houses to work on. He was looking to get more knowledge and train his crew. So we now have a relationship where he provides a house, and we provide some training and education and consultation. So it's a real rubber meets the road. where we're actually working with a contractor, getting them up to speed, helping them train and improve their business model while providing our students a really enriched learning experience. So we're doing that. We just did another house in San Jose. Where he's looking for a house closer this next time because it's a fair distance from the school. So he wants to make this even more viable. So he's looking to change where he buys these houses. We're going to close escrow closer to the class time so the students can be even more involved. And I think this is going to develop over a number of years to where we get known for doing these houses, and we're going to do more PR and some public outreach with them. So it's a really viable campaign to enrich student learning, to provide support to industry, and engage the community, which is really what a community college is about. Peter could speak a little more. He worked with Mohan previously and is also really the kingpin for this relationship.
So to say a little bit more, so basically, we need to convince our government to be more supportive of these programs and not just talk about it and not support practices which are destructive of the environment and basically continue cheap energy which undermines the market on the one hand, but probably more tractable is to work with the public in our area in terms of raising the consumer consciousness, home buyers, homeowners, that this is something is a good investment. It's probably a better investment than anything you do on Wall Street. And this particular developer Sidco, is very progressive in that regard. His last house, not only did he make it more energy efficient with a PV panel on the roof, but he sized it to be able to have an electric car in the garage as well, and actually tossed in a Tesla with a 3-year prepaid lease as part of the deal. So that caught some attention in the real estate industry, and he's probably going to continue along that way. If you're going to invest money in your house, save energy, let's also invest money in traveling to and from your house as well. So this is the kind of innovation that we're looking for and trying to support, and to have our students be able to work from the start in terms of diagnosing the house when he buys it to the point where it's finished and being sold, and getting as much good PR around that as we can to convince other people that this is the way to go is definitely part of the market. And the sales program, we didn't say that much about here now. So we've got Cecilia working working with students in terms of making videos about young people selling different aspects of energy efficiency and renewable energy. But basically, we've got a whole industry conversion here where we have the most progressive contractors who are embracing the whole house. So we've got HVAC contractors who realize we not only got to put in a high efficiency furnace, but we've got to save down the rate at which energy is leaking out of our homes. So let's look at the whole house and work it all together. So we want to support them. We have people whose expertise is in looking at the house and figuring out what the deficiencies are. The auditors, we want to support them in being able to have a self-standing business. We want general contractors who are taking another look at the practice that they may have been doing for years and doing it better now, and really embracing the newest materials and methods, many of whom are showing up in terms of our vendors and educational partners here at the conference. So we're basically bringing all the players together, and kind of in Anna Minister's term, the whole integrated project delivery, getting the whole team together at this stage and being able to work together in the future in our area, the Bay Area where we're working now, and hopefully this will overflow beyond. But I'm feeling very optimistic about no longer having education be in the classroom, and then, whoops, you've graduated, you're on your own, where do I get a job? But working with people into the market, working with employers, making sure that we provide them with graduates who have the skills that they need, the skill set to be able to work and continue their education on the job from here.
I know you have an industry advisory council for your ESDM program. Who are some of the kinds of employers that you're seeing some pull for, new recruits, new hires? What kind of industry?
Boy, it's been a very interesting year, to say the least. First it was the general contractors actually that came out first because they were more involved with this. But actually, what we've seen recently is the HVAC contractors. Clearly there's a problem with our HVAC systems in our Bay Area and probably the nation. And the ones that really want to do the better work and really want to truly provide comfort at an affordable rate are gravitating towards this very quickly. And they're realizing they can do better work, provide better service, and retain clients when they start going down this path. So we're seeing a lot more people from the trades enter, and we're seeing a good amount of young people that are interested. They're concerned about climate shift. They might be entering for other reasons like that, more of a global picture, but clearly there's an interest for them to take action, which is wonderful. We really need to bring the young demographic into the industry. I think they bring a freshness, they bring innovation and a new perspective. I think that's much needed. So we're really, quite honestly, attracting a wide range of people at this point. What we really want to focus on is continuing bringing in the tradespeople. These are the leaders, these are the ones who are going to hire the students, and these are the ones who are going to benefit the most from it. And that's why the program was designed to service all these different types of people. But for the most part, we're really attracting a lot of the tradespeople, namely general contractors, HVAC contractors, some electricians. They usually gravitate to the solar aspect, which is perfectly okay. And even plumbers. Solar thermals is kind of making a comeback, and that's essentially a lot of plumbing.
What about water efficiency?
Of course, water. I mean, it couldn't be more topical. We've been covering it, and it's interesting because that's one thing that's really been lacking in the building performance curriculum in general. So we've been making our own concerted effort to instill that in our graduates. I'm a qualified, efficient landscaper because I was going out to these houses assessing them, and I said, what about the yard and all this water that's being wasted? And so I pursued it, and there's actually a few certifications. I went with the Quell certification, but we're slowly branching into that as well, especially now in the drought situation. I think there's more demand for it. So hopefully we'll expand on that as well. I think that's going to be the hottest, most contentious issue over the next 5 years.
So kind of building on that, so the tools that we use to test houses here in the laboratory, and then we go out in the field and assess houses, are tools that really anybody who's working on homes should have, along with their hammer and their screw gun and whatever else they use, the sheet metal shearers. So as Bruce is saying, the leading edge of the HVAC contractors now are realizing that they need to have their crews have the duct testing equipment to be able to test their ducts on the spot. They shouldn't wait till somebody comes along to check up on them, which is the direction that the state energy code and the HERS home energy rating system tends to go. We're going to come up and check on you and make sure that your ducts are tight as they should be. Or we're going to come up and check on you and make sure you did a good job of insulation. But the installers themselves need to know what's expected of them. And it's really great to have the designers here at a conference so the designers can actually write in from the get-go on the plans, this is what we're expecting in terms of our standard performance for every aspect of the building. The framers, everybody should have a caulking gun or ways of sealing up. You put two pieces of wood together, we want to make sure there's no air leaking in between them. And we have several, actually the preponderance of the manufacturers and suppliers that we have at this conference have to do with air sealing. Air sealing is number one. If you want to make your house more energy efficient, stop the air from leaking in and out of it. If you want your insulation to perform well, stop the air from leaking through it. It's like really, really important. And so this is probably the cutting edge in building science and building construction that I see now. And we're finally getting to the point where we can now test buildings to the degree that the auto industry has been testing their automobiles for years, and maybe even go beyond that. I mean, we've taken it for granted that if we buy a car, and spend good money on it and go riding around, that we're going to be safe as we can be, given the fact that we're hurling around at high speeds and as safe as we can be. But we spend even more money on our homes, and we spend more time in our homes. So let's be safe in our homes. And that's another aspect of the conference here. We have people who are doctors and specialists in home building science and health about our buildings. So we want to know what the hazards are, both in regard to the materials and in regard to how our buildings operate, particularly in terms of moisture going in our buildings and the bad things that can happen when we get moisture trapped in the wrong places.
So that's why you commonly hear the term building performance, and this is kind of what Peter is touching on is, even though our department's energy systems technology management, really what we're teaching is how to make homes perform well. And the performance factors are basically, we want them to be safe. We want them to be healthy, namely the air quality. We want them to be comfortable, durable, and then with all that, we actually get energy efficiency. So that's kind of the misnomer that it's only energy. But so much of this work is really about safety and health and comfort and durability. And I think that's the message that's getting lost. And both, not only the consumers, but also the contractors realize you have a lot of value to sell here. Unfortunately, a lot of them we can't put a monetary value on them. So that's kind of the issue, but generally people want good air. They would like a house that's safe to live in. This is why we have our houses, not really to
There have been studies done recently that actually do put the monetary value on the reduced hospital visits and asthma attacks and other kinds of medical costs for poor indoor air quality and other pollutants that are coming from outside as well.
Right. And it's also something we as part of our diagnostics. I'm happy you brought it up because a big part of what we do, the safety aspect is what we call combustion safety testing.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially we have these combustion appliances, these little mini fires in our houses. Well, things that come off the fire are very dangerous, and those things should not ever go into the house. In some cases they do. We're one of the small groups that's actually testing, and we're actually, the data that we're finding in terms of historical data, that there's a real problem out there as far as combustion safety in our houses. I find it appalling that people that are installing these aren't testing them, and that there's this other group that's not even installing them, that's actually testing them and finding these problems. And this is something that I think the designers are very keen about, is making a house that's safe. That it should be paramount. And that's where we actually have another colleague here that's going to be presenting, Dr. Jean Wu, who's actually a medical practitioner, and started making the correlation between a lot of these ailments she's seeing and what she's seeing in the local housing. And she's really made some interesting correlations. We invite her every semester to guest lecture on healthy homes. So there's more to it. Again, it gets broader as we start looking deeper into it, and that's what the beauty of the science is. We don't just guess or hope it's okay. We're actually going to test, measure it, and know for sure what the house is doing.
Well, to wrap up, was there anything new you learned at the conference with the AIBD presenters? Or
yeah, I'm so impressed with the presenters. Peter, Clay, and Caroline did such a fantastic job. Clearly the keynote speakers are some of the top in the field, and I know that you got a chance to interview some, so that'd be wonderful that they're on this video. Aside from that, everyone that presented was captivating as far as I'm concerned. I know I've been doing this for I've been a contractor for over 20 years and doing this for about 6 or 7, and I learned, I can't even talk to how much I learned today. So it was really amazing that even at this level, I'm still learning. So I can just imagine what people that haven't been exposed to this are learning today. So I think they hit the mark with this conference. I learned a lot and had a lot of fun.
Okay.
I was really impressed today with the really advanced science and research that's going on with regard to testing building assemblies. And we had this group from Persoco who are actually able to test a wall assembly with a window in it for wind-driven rains to see what it takes to make them leak. And they can actually simulate or produce inside their little test module the equivalent of 150 mile an hour wind, rain trying to penetrate through the wall assembly. This just really blew my socks off, because I originally, when I went off to college, wanted to be a physicist. And in those days we were thinking about landing people on the moon and things like that. But this is like doing to buildings here on Earth what the technology of the day was doing to get ourselves to other planets. And frankly, I think our future is not going to be in moving to another planet. I think it's going to be in taking care of this one. So it's really important that we take our most brilliant minds and brilliant science and be able to apply that right here. 40% of the energy in this country is wrapped up in our buildings. If we're going to make a dent on our energy independence and wean ourselves off fossil fuel, it's going to have to do with making a clean up our act on our buildings as well as in our transportation. The other thing about this conference that really impresses me is that the wide variety of backgrounds and interests of the people who've come here together, and the fact that this really has been a gathering of people at the design end, people at the construction, people in terms of performance as well, and together with the manufacturers who are trying to provide the materials and the methods for doing this better. And it really is exciting. This is just a very stimulating environment to be, and the fact that it's taking place here at Skyline College, an educational community college. It's like your neighborhood college is actually, I think, at the forefront of what it's going to take to be able to apply our genius, our American genius here. And not just American genius, but we're learning a few things from Europe as well, the old world. They're coming back and showing us that, hey, if energy's more expensive, then you take it more seriously and you figure out how to save it more quickly.
Right.
And we're actually employing it. Tomorrow, for example, we're going to have a couple people speaking from the passive house movement. It's come back to America after it started in the 70s here in America in terms of orientation and solar gain and so forth in your house. Went to Europe, and now it's coming back to us in terms of really emphasizing the importance of air sealing, good insulation, and basically heating your home and making it comfortable in much less energy consumptive fashion. So it just is so exciting to me that we are actually getting to this point of really embracing each other's intelligence and sharing with each other and discovering new things.
Thanks for bringing it all together here for this conference. How can people find out more about your program?
The best way would be to go on our website, which is www.skylinecollege.edu/ESTM. And that's our landing page, and on there you'll see all our courses, our schedule. Beyond that, you're welcome to contact me. And my name is Bruce Greenstein, and I'm here full-time. I'm here all week. So just give me a call. I'd love to chat with you about the courses. And but the website's a great place to start, to see what we have to offer and see if it meets your needs.
Thanks for being with us.
And
Thank
same
you,
thing
Tom.
for me too. Anytime, Peter Waring, you can contact me. And I think things are looking very good for having another conference here next year, probably around the same time, and having some more focused technical seminars, seminars on particular aspects that have prompted people's interest in the meantime.
Right, and more beer.
And more beer.
Thank you,
Always
Tom.
fun to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Okay. That's a wrap.
All right.
That was great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're good at this, Tom.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
you're
good
great.
job.
Yes, your years of being interested in making the rounds just got like